Yeah, yeah.
No, there's no fucking free ride. That's the reality.
That's
Everybody
true.
wants these
It is
fucking
true.
free-
There's always a risk. The risks are everywhere. You got to know them. Dave Bradley said it best at the conference, I think, that the problem with treasury companies compared to Bitcoin on the risk side is that the risks in Bitcoin are very clear and the scope of the risks is narrowing. When you look at a company like MSTR, because of the way they're building this, debt curve, let's say, to put it generously, the scope of the risks is not only expanding, broadening, but also the difficulty that the average person has in understanding these things is broadening. And you're finding yourself sort of compounding your deficit in terms of understanding because of the difficulty around some of these vehicles. So like when you're talking about preferreds and you're talking about capital stack and you're talking about, repayment hierarchy and all these things, this is hard for the average person to know. But you know what's not hard? Fixed supply, self-custody. Like, it's just where most people belong, and I think everyone gets there either by hook or by crook in time. So I'm not worried about it.
Makes so much sense. Like I'm a total dumbass when it comes to those fiat terms you're mentioning, but I could grasp relatively simply fixed supply.
Yeah.
There's
a reason people call us retards, right? I mean, it's kind of a term of endearment.
Yeah, I'm proud to be one. To be one.
Yeah.
Powell prepping the burr looks like. Cut rates 25 basis points last week.
I love it. They're going to do it again. They're going to do it again in December too.
Talking, but who knows? But what's interesting is the price of Bitcoin didn't react positively. Was everybody expecting a bigger cut? Like, I just didn't make sense.
Because I think that capital is going to come. Not to interrupt you, I thought you were done there. But the reason I think it's not reacting, and I don't think it will react until Q1 26 or Q2 26, is because it's not like you're unsure of what direction rates are going to go in 6 months. The Powell's out. They're going to bring in an ultra dove as the Fed chair, and that the neutral rate is going to drop significantly. And so I think you're going to see a big time rip in equities and risk assets and Bitcoin and everything come Q2, let's say. I think that's probably why. It's predictable what's going to happen next. And so if you can hang in till then, you're fine.
You're not selling?
No, I'm not planning on selling. No.
Oh, okay. I just saw the dip. I was like, what the fuck? This is a good time to get out. I'm done.
What did it even work down to? We've been over 100K for a long time now. When was the last time we were under 100K? A year ago?
No, it was this year.
I don't remember.
I don't even want to guess.
When my daughter was born, the price was like 72,000. So that was a year ago ish. So let's do the math on that. It's been over 100K for like 6 months probably, and from this time a year ago, you're still up.
So April was 75K.
Yeah. Okay.
And we got over 100.
July. Guillaume is saying July it went up to 100 for the first time and stayed there since.
So May it crossed May 9th, 8th, 9th is when it hasn't gotten below. Yeah, so it's
$100,000 Bitcoin is still a wild thing for me to say out loud, isn't it? Yeah.
But if the price of gold, if we hit 4,400 2 weeks ago,
not even, I don't think, but yeah.
Putting things in perspective, 106, it's low, right? Like it's so much money piled into gold in the past year or so, and it's not like it's thinly traded. This thing, it's like what is it, $14 trillion market cap right now?
14. It's fucking 35. I think it's a lot.
Gold is 35 trillion.
Yeah, pretty sure. Look that up. Jamie, pull that up. Boomer's pointing out that the tariff.
My bad. You're right. 27 trillion is.
I thought it was higher than that.
This one is 38 trillion. So it depends. Well, this thing is to move that fucking market cap, like
big money. That's real. That's real inflows. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the speculation on that?
Well, I mean, we talk all the time about how central banks should print and buy Bitcoin. The central banks are actually printing and buying gold. So I don't know. Maybe they'll switch, but
that is an admission that the money that they administer is worthless.
Administer is the key word there. I'm glad you said that. Not just the money they print; it's the money that they are the shepherds of, right? And they are, they are treating it poorly, and they understand how poorly it's being treated.
If they don't have confidence in it, why should anybody else? If I am the CEO of a company, I would talk up that company so much. It's the best company in the world because I believe in it.
Totally.
The moment I stop believing in it and stop talking about it in a positive manner, nobody should be using the products or doing anything with the company that I'm a part of. Makes no sense. It's the same thing with this. When they're exchanging money to buy gold, lots of it, it's a telltale sign. It's saying to the market they don't have confidence in the money that they're
administering. I agree with you.
Now,
I agree with you.
Granted, there may be some validity that they have to have certain amount of gold for transactions and they have to have some foreign currencies, right, to do some. But there comes a point where they're getting excess amount. They're just like they're trading more because they just don't believe in what they have. Either way, QT looks like it's coming to an end in December 1, in fact.
It's not looking like it's coming to an end. It's over. They're stopping the tightening regime. So yeah, that's why I put in the thumbnail. The printer is warming up. Like, what are we? There's no doubts about this. The best thing about the transparency of the financial market is that even if you don't understand the plumbing, you can see what way the shit is flowing. You know, and it's coming. It's coming your way. You're gonna get a nice influx of liquidity here. Repo showing the same thing. Repo is drained. There's an injection coming, okay, and not the one from 2021. It's the one you actually want, you know, and it's gonna pump your bags like you wouldn't believe. I got a copy of Larry Lepard's book behind me, the big print that I haven't opened yet, and I'm sure that he's going to be pointing to all these things and saying, "Look, you know, the transparency is your friend here." They're not transparent all the time, but the stuff that they are transparent about is very, very telling. And he was spot on a few years ago at the Bitcoin conference. Him and Greg Voss, right, talking about how he's like, yeah, you know, if you can hang in there, this thing's going to be 100,000 in 3 years. Here we are, 3 years later. He's dead on the money. That guy.
We are full of apologists between Carney and other people. Very, very thankful. We're a country of apologists. But another thing that we didn't talk about this year, and I wish we did, I fucking missed it. And it just shows how fucking pathetic things are becoming. The penny in the United States, they ended production in May of this year.
Yeah, we talked.
Right, and it may not seem like a big thing. The fucking penny.
Is it cost about that, Len?
I don't think so.
Thought we did,
but
whatever. You know, yeah, okay.
May not seem like a big thing because it costs 3.7 cents to make a single penny, so it's a money losing endeavor. But if you look at it from a different point of view, it is the smallest unit you could use. Right, gone. So it used to be 1/100th. Now it's 1/20th is the smallest unit. Like, we make fun of other countries when they add a zero and shit like
the $5 million bill. Yeah.
This isn't as extreme as that, but you know what I mean? Like, you're getting rid of a unit of accounting. This cheapest coin, it's gone. The penny.
Yeah.
1/100th. You can't use it anymore, or you can't get it anymore. You can still use it, but that's a telltale sign that things they are getting bad, and it's going to continue to get bad. Canada did this 13 years ago, by the way.
Yeah.
In 2012. So.
Rounding up all cash purchase to the next nickel was a hilarious sort of under the radar thing for this country that no one really talked about. Oh, it's not efficient to produce the penny. Oh, we don't need it anymore. Okay. Let me tell you how it looks in 20 years. Not great. Not great.
And right now, there's no rules in the States about doing the rounding. They're trying to get a law put in place, looks like, but nothing has been set in stone just yet. And
they'll round it up. They'll round it up if you're white, round it down if you're a minority. That's how the liberal states will do it, right? The Zoran Mamdani roundup rules coming soon to New York City. Coming tomorrow to New York City.
What's interesting is 24 years ago.
What's interesting is that he was DJing at a gay bar at 2 a.m. Is that what you were going to say?
Did he? Yeah. You could tell me
the next day he was at Next day he was at the marathon. That's not an anti-gay comment.
No.
It's like this guy is all over the place. Even though there's basically zero chance he's going to lose, like that city's going to be handed to a communist in the next.
It's more
48
than
hours.
that, Joey.
Yeah.
Remember, if you go back 24 years ago, the
in
mentality in New York,
right?
The mentality in New York there was anger, there was shock. People were like, "What the fuck happened?" Let me go look. The New York mayor history. Let's go take a look to see
It's probably all Republicans till Giuliani, right?
No, I'm going to just name some last names: Adams,
Okay.
De Blasio, Bloomberg,
Yeah.
Giuliani, Dickens, Koch, Beam, Lindsay, Wagner, O'Dwyer, LaGuardia, O'Brien, like Mamdani, right? Like 24 years ago. And
I'm told he's as American as you and or as
maybe
American
he
as any
is,
other
but
American. I don't know.
There was,
Listen,
and this is not
these
my
are difficult.
word.
These are difficult conversations, by the way, that we're
No,
trying to have
they're
here,
not.
But
These, because it just took a generation to change people's mentality.
Yeah.
Right. There was something that started. These are not my words. They called it a holy war that it was done upon America. Right.
Yeah.
And upon they changed the landscape of New York. People, they fucking jumped out of a burning building. They had the choice of either suffocating, being burned alive, or I'm gonna jump out and do it. This is, people made hard choices because some fucking assholes. At least that's the story they told us. They use box cutters and shit like that.
They found the passports intact at the ground zero.
Now, 24 years ago.
I hate talking about this because it makes me feel like I'm insane, but the intact passports at the crash site is a bridge too far for me.
That's a story they tell us, and I'm gonna go with it. Some guys in the cave with box cutters and that are hidden in their fucking shoes were able to do this. All right, I'm good with that. But New York, good fucking luck. I'm amazed. I'm amazed that people have forgotten a lot of what has happened.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
well, the problem is that like
sad.
The history. I was listening to Pagan today talking about the sort of way that many Canadians now feel disdain for the country as opposed to being proud of its history. And the two guys he was talking to wrote a book called Fracture. I think it's about Canada's breaking point. It's good. Sounds like a good book. I might grab it. They point out that like 25% of people under 50 weren't born here now. So like it's not that they don't know the history, it's that they have no attachment to it. They experience that portion of history on the other side of the coin, right? And I think in New York, that is a truly global city, and you can say what you want about immigration and the density of certain ethnic groups, cultural groups, religious groups, whatever. I have my own thoughts about that, but this sort of bigger picture there is it's become trendy to view anything from the third world conquering something from the first world as a win. That's the new victory for what is a sort of morally defeated demographic in the young people of America. And you see it, I think you see it in the Palestine thing. I think you see it in the way they talk about Trump. I think you see it in the way they want to bring back communism. And now, of course, you have sort of a perfect poster child, a guy who's from a third world country, follows a third world religion, eats with his hands when the cameras are around, and is a socialist commie. And the ideas that he's proposing are obviously bad, but they're also intuitively bad for people who are relatively smart. And so I really do think there's something to this idea that the ultimate goal is just sticking it to the people you think have disadvantaged you, no matter how much worse it makes things, because it'll also make it worse for them. And I don't know. Good luck to everyone over there. But if I was you guys, I would be trying to get that Silva guy to give his head a shake, get out of the race, and maybe Cuomo's got a chance. But right now, I think it's a runaway win.
Polymarket is showing it is.
Yeah.
And if you're going to use that as the barometer of which way things are trending, the one thing maybe they should just do to give people, make them feel better, is just issue stamps, right? Right. Are we going
to talk about the stamp thing? Should we talk about it?
Do you know how many served in World War I?
10
Do you know how many?
Len is talking about this thing I found just before the show, and I'm going to bring it up because I really don't know how else to describe what I'm seeing here.
No, Joey, do you know how many served in World War I?
How many what?
Sikhs, I guess.
Sikh soldiers, yeah. 10
is the
number.
10.
Yeah. That's alleged too. I think that's an allegation, not a hard and fast truth.
And I went further. British sent 5 million men to war, and India was one of their colonies at the time. They sent around 100 to 125,000 Sikhs. That's a larger number, but still pales in comparison to the 5 million men that.
So I have it on the screen for people on audio. Canada Post Remembrance Day stamp honors Sikh soldiers. And as though to add insult to injury, there's a sort of stamp. The stamp is for Private Singh. It says the Soldat Singh, and then it's in what I guess is Hindu, right?
It's Hindi or Punjabi.
Third language. Like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of traditions in this country that are very proud. And I think that there are traditions that certain people really do revel in. One of them is the ferocity that Canadian soldiers were known for in the two Great Wars. And I don't know, Len, like I went to school in Canada. I'm Canadian educated. I never heard anything about this growing up. And the idea that we should have a stamp for Sikh soldiers, 10 of them, while current day vets starve in the street, are offered maid, et cetera, I think is like, it's offensive in a lot of ways. We just shouldn't be doing it. And I realize people will say, I think the common refrain is going to be Sikhs and the Indians you're so, mad at or who are causing problems in culture. Like, these are not the same people. I'm not suggesting that. I have nothing against Sikhs. I don't care one way or the other about their culture. What I care about is what is obviously a slight to a fierce and steadfast Canadian tradition, one that is one of the only ones we have left in this country in a lot of ways. And this is how you're celebrating Remembrance Day. Like,
take a guess, Joey. How many Chinese served Canada in World War One? Take a guess.
World War One?
World War, because this is what it is. We're talking about. I'm trying to compare apples to apples here.
God, it's got to be a low number, less than 1,000.
Yeah, it is less than. They're saying 200. Okay. This is according to Veterans Affairs Canada. 200. So that's quite a bit more than 10. Where's their fucking stamp?
Yeah, good question, right? My wife's, we were kind of laughing about this at dinner, and my wife pointed out that, like, the only way you would ever do this is if you were trying to upset people. And, she's not terminally online the same way we are, and certainly does not have the harsh opinions that I do. But for her to say that, I think that's a signpost, like she's just a stay-at-home mom right now. And I showed her that, and she's going, why do they want to upset people with stuff like this? And it's like, yeah, it's a good question. Why do they choose this stuff over and over and over again?
I'm buying the booklet. I have to get this. And
Hard not to.
Yeah. And I don't mail a lot of shit out, but I'm going to start mailing stuff out. And I think it's I got to support.
You can mail me the stories every week or something just to use the stamps.
Fucking A, I'll do that. You get it far after. They're still in rotating strikes, right?
Yeah, they are. Not everywhere. I think I was talking to my good buddy who's a postie. He was saying that the more popular routes or the more important routes are basically full service now. So
what's a more important route? I mean,
I don't know. Who knows?
How did it make that? Who knows? Isn't everything fucking important?
It depends who you ask. Do you want to talk notwithstanding in Alberta?
Go ahead.
I want to talk about it because I saw a tweet today that I shared, and I'm not going to bring it up, but
you're talking with respect to the teachers, right?
Yeah, the teachers were forced back to work by the provincial government there after 3 weeks of striking and basically no movement in negotiations. The province is correct to force them back, but the teachers union now is really pulling no punches about the problems they're having. And I heard whispers of this like a week ago, and I know it to be true from talking to teachers, and even here in Hamilton, I have a lot of friends who are teachers who say the same thing. But I've not seen the teachers union adopt this as a negotiating position and tactic. And the tactic I'm talking about specifically is that the Alberta teachers are saying that 31% of their students now need interpreters in the classroom because they don't speak English.
Wow.
31% is a big number. And 31% is a number that will ruin education for 100% of the kids in the classroom setting. Not only that, but there's 34,000 kids in the Alberta school system who have identifiable learning disabilities and other special needs. So what does this mean? I'm going to say some things here that are not going to be popular, and they may be rude. And ultimately, I think, we'll probably lose me friends and have me sitting on the outside of a dinner party next time there's an invitation going out. This is a strictly third world immigration problem. Third world immigrants, a lot of times, do not abort children that have genetic defaults that will lead to significant, severe, and easily identifiable disabilities. Some of them are brutally difficult to deal with for parents, even more so for teachers and educators. Difficult for classroom settings, but because of policy that's been adopted by every province for whatever reason, there's no more special needs classrooms or hallways. Everyone is fully included in the classroom setting, even at the cost of regular learners, certainly at a greater cost to gifted students, but we won't get into that. These same people, Pakistan, for example, first cousin marriages, not only accepted, but encouraged. We have places like the UK talking about the benefits of cousin marriage. It really strengthens relationship. Other completely insane nonsense that, a few years ago would have been obviously ridiculous. You can't marry your first cousin. You risk retardation and other significant problems in your children. Even if the kids don't show it right away, they will have problems with impulse control. They will have problems with learning. They will have problems with development. They will wind up more likely to be either ward of the state because they're on welfare or because they're in jail. This is a fact, okay? When you introduce this population into English-speaking schools, what you get is this result, where 31% of kids can't speak English, 34,000 of them need IEPs or some other problem with their education resolved, and there's no funding. And the teachers are saying, we are sick of it. We're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to come to school and deal with Bronze Age languages from people who don't have any interest in learning, parents who cannot participate in the school community, who cannot help us with the stuff they're being taught in school. Instead, it's an uphill battle. There's religious undertones and fault lines now that are prevalent in that education system and in others in this country and in other places in the world, specifically in Europe. How much longer can we ignore this? How much longer can we pretend that diversity is a strength when it's clearly a weakness? How much longer can we pretend that immigration is a net benefit when it's clearly not? I don't know how much longer we can do it. We're going to try and keep pretending, I guess, for a little longer. But I applaud the Alberta teachers for putting out that data about exactly what the problems are in their schools. And they're not blaming it entirely on immigrants, but they're leading the horse to water in a way that no professional union has done yet. And it's just the fact of the matter. These are things that are impossible to argue with. No impartial observer would ever look at a school system like that and say, yeah, I want to send my kid there. And so what I expect to see in the next 10 years, if not sooner, certainly I'll be asking when I decide where to send my daughter to school, how many immigrant families do you have here? How many kids on IEPs? How many kids don't speak English? Do you have classrooms with interpreters? How many kids have learning disabilities? That information should be public because it's my job to make sure that my kid gets the best education. And you're going to see a flight of quality teachers, quality families, and their quality kids, board to certain schools, certain neighborhoods, certain jurisdictions, where they don't have to deal with that. And those schools are going to outperform. And the outperformance is going to be so pronounced, Len, that they're going to have to stop reporting test scores. Oh, wait, sorry, they've already done that in a lot of places. They've already eliminated gifted programs. They've already because why? Because it shows something that's intuitive and obvious to everyone who's paying attention. I applaud the teachers for this. I really want to get someone from that teachers union to come on this show. It'll be next to impossible to do it because of the way we talk about everything. But this is so obvious that it shouldn't need to be said. But there's just so many people out there who don't get it because they're not dealing with it. You're going to start dealing with it now. Because soon, those people who come through the school system who we can't fail, we can't tell them they're stupid, we can't tell them to stop having sex with their cousins, this will be the person who is responsible for fixing your car, delivering your Amazon, building your bridges. How are those things going to work? This is the real crisis of infrastructure that the first world has to deal with now. And I don't know if there's a fix for it.
Correct. 100% there is none.
Yeah.
there is none. I guess I've racked my brain. It will take a generation plus of
minimum.
Yeah, and you have to make
and there will be disasters. There will be
be
disasters. Airplanes, trains, like these
fucking
things
go on a
rely.
subway.
Yeah, everything from making sure your bread is the lettuce is laid properly to the landing gear being deployed at the right time is going to be relying on people who just don't have it. And it's like,
And
it brings me, by the way, it brings me no great pleasure to say this, but the problem is you just keep throwing it at me and I have no choice but to acknowledge it and say that there's a problem. And, at this wedding I was at on the weekend, I said a couple of things that, after a few beers, you might find you say some things to people you don't really know. And Len, I'll tell you, I didn't get any negative feedback on any of the stuff I said. And some of it was brutal. But everyone is thinking the same thing. They're tired. They're tired of it.
But you know what? I think that the scales have tipped over to, it's going to, like I said, to change things, it will take a long time of very difficult decisions.
Can I ask you something? Why do you think the scales have tipped?
It doesn't take it's not like it's a 50% that tips the scales. It's, you're talking just a few percent, and that's enough. And then it's very difficult to change things when you're looking at the decisions they tend to make. And if you look at just simply how they handle with money, which should be like it is a very important thing that they should be dealing with. Yeah. And the solution that is normally come up with is let's borrow, let's add to the fucking debt, let's let the future generations deal with it. And that's really how it's going to be for just about everything. Let's let the future generations deal with it. And these 4-year cycles, it doesn't help things out.
Yeah, I want to point to two things here. Boomer is saying that there's like seed oils and vaccines. Like, I just want to point out, I have a kid. My kid has a regular vaccine schedule. Like, our vaccine schedule in Canada is not the vaccine schedule that everyone thinks is harming kids. I just want to point that out.
It's different in the States.
It's much different. We talked about it on the show. In the States, a kid between 0 and 18 years old gets about 80 shots. Here, it's about 20. They wait till the kids are a certain weight. They don't distribute the shots the same way. Like, it's not the same thing here as it is there. I want to just point that out. There may be still some worry, but me personally, I look at the risk reward, and I know I'll get some shit from a lot of people, but I just didn't think anything of it, to be honest with you. There's some stuff at birth we didn't do, but some of the other stuff we did do. And then the seed oils and diet thing, this is a common refrain from, immigration sympathizers, that the problem is not that these people are just cut from a different cloth. It's that their diet isn't good. Their IQ is low because they're not eating properly. Like, I don't think that is a fair assessment, honestly. I don't. And there's a lot of data that points to that I will not say on the show, but you can find this stuff fairly easily. The US has a lot of reporting that cuts out a lot of noise. And even though it's not perfect, there's some obvious truths in certain demographics about the way you can expect those demographics to behave. And in Canada, you see it, there's not a mystery. I mean, how many times we have a segment called Toronto Man versus Brampton Man? I almost never get it wrong. It's a blind smell test. You look at the Toronto Police Service Twitter account, every single crime is committed by a recent immigrant from the same 3 places. Like, what are we talking about? It has nothing to do with diet, vaccines. It's got everything to do with the cut of the cloth. And it's just the way it is. Sucks, but there's no point in ignoring it anymore. It's like right in your face all the time. Boomer, you're not an immigration sympathizer. I'm just saying. So that's what some people say. Anyway, let's move on. Well, before I get in more shit.
Huntington stabbings was something that came up, and
the train station. Yeah.
And that's absolute crazy. Is those 2 people just indiscriminately stabbing people on a train.
Yeah.
And when this happened, you had members in elected positions saying, let's not jump to conclusions. Let's not talk about this.
Yeah.
Like, people fucking got stabbed,
9 of them. 9 people killed.
No, I think it was 11 people taken to hospital.
Was it
nobody
9?
Died.
Oh, I thought it was 9 killed. Okay. Yeah.
Well, no.
Still.
Two patients remain in life-threatening condition as of yesterday.
Okay.
And they're saying that this has nothing to do with the terrorist-related.
I mean,
attack. Maybe not, but then
I cannot repeat my thoughts on this on the show. I've already said enough. But
if you're look, I would be scared if I was on these trains
Totally.
and witnessed this, I wouldn't want to go on another train again.
You'd never get on a train again. You'd never get on a bus. You'd never get on a train. You'd never
Yeah.
use public transit. And why should you?
And public transit, just generally, it's pathetic. I could take the subway in Toronto, for instance.
Mhm.
It's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
But
It's a mental hospital. There's an admission by Olivia Chow that it is a rail mental hospital.
Well,
how
they
do we know
have-
this? Because we send social workers onto
Yeah.
it to make sure that no one has a mental breakdown. Like that's what you see in an asylum, not on a train. Like there's no explaining it to these people. And again, there's an outstanding tweet from a few weeks ago. The problem with arguing with the left is that dialogue and discourse are impossible because they just pretend not to understand what the problem is. And so that's how you wind up with people just disconnecting from society, not taking the train anymore, not getting on a bus. That's what happens. That's the outcome.
And unfortunately, the problem is it's now compounded because it's going to be more costly to buy a car if they continue in the direction of limiting how many new internal combustion engine cars there are. Then you're forced to buy an electric, and that's more costly. Then you have to deal with, do we have enough electricity to power that? So then you're almost funneled back to these public transit options because you just don't have the funding to buy a new car or a jalopy out there that's used because it won't last very long. So you're basically back to square one where you're taking the train again and you're just dealing with the degenerates on it.
Yeah.
These are the commoners, right? These are the people that just Joe Blows that are just trying to get to and from work, to and from school, to and from an event,
Shocker.
right? Like,
it's crazy, man. It's crazy that this is allowed. It's crazy that it's like defended by an entire part of the political establishment.
It's going to become a point where you have a mass flight of people. People are already moving to Mexico,
but they can't. The UK
else.
today just put in a minimum 20% exit tax. Did you see that? Like they know what they're doing is driving competent people away, and they're like,
people still pay that.
Yeah,
you know what? If push comes to shove, people will say, "Fuck it, I'll fucking pay that." Yeah. Is it worth it? Because
I think so too.
Physical and mental health is worth far more than the 20% I'd have to pay.
Totally. What would it take for you right now? Like me and you, I remember when we were just starting the show, we did an event for Shake Pay. And we took the train to Toronto. You remember that?
Yeah, that was the GO train.
Would you still do when was the last time you were on a GO train? Would you get on a GO train now?
100%. A GO
really,
train.
Eh?
Yeah. I think it weeds out a lot of the riffraff that you get on the TTC because of the cost. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it's just pound for pound, it's better than the TTC.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll take the GO train any day. In fact, last time I took it was a year ago. It's been a while, but I would do it again. I was almost going to take it again September this year, but I got to drive to Toronto. So
great.
Yeah.
Should we wrap with Hamilton Brampton man here or what?
You don't want to talk about Supreme Court coming out with their child pornography?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Introduce.
We'll talk about that
story. Yeah. Okay.
Carney apologizing. CBC having 81% of their new hires, or 84% of their new hires being Indigenous people.
Okay, let's keep rolling. We'll go to 140. Fuck it. Why not? Those are good stories.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that one right now. The CBC report came out. This is for last fiscal year, and the new people they hired, 84%, 84.1 to be specific, fell in a category of Indigenous peoples, persons with disabilities, and racialized people. Their target was 65%, so they far exceeded that. So I have to give them
A+. Great.
84 is definitely an A, right? So yeah, there we go. Is it reflective of the product that there's?
Amazing.
I have to admit, when I drive to work, I sometimes listen to CBC radio because it just fucking stirs me. And you got to get that information. You got to like figure it. There was something I can't remember what it was, but there was something big going on, and they just didn't even fucking cover it. It was they were covering some stupid, I fucking can't even say type event. It's just like they are just shoveling garbage down people's throats, and they're losing viewership and listenership and subscribership like crazy.
Don't forget, they're suing right now to keep the number of paying subscribers to CBC Gem private.
I love that. It's a
They're
fucking
suing.
publicly funded.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't fucking give that information. No, that's gonna.
Is it less than 500? You think?
A paying, because
Yeah.
there's the free and the paying, right? So if you're gonna go with the
Paying subs to CBC Gem, it's got to be less than 500.
no, I'm gonna go above that for sure.
1,000. They're suing to keep the number private. So
I'll say
reasonable
2,500.
number.
I'll go with 2,500 people. That's
Yeah.
a country of 42 million, whatever the fuck we're at.
Unknown.
5 million
total.
are probably hardcore CBCers.
Yeah.
2,500.
But they're poor. They're hardcore CBCers are poor.
But there's some like professors.
I don't know.
Like, you know what I mean?
I really think that number's super low. I really do. We're gonna find out at some point. So we can talk about the child porn thing. How many things can we say to become absolutely nuked by the algorithm today? I don't know, but there's a couple hundred people watching, so I don't care. The child porn ruling upset me quite a bit when I first saw it, but I've tempered my response because as some people in the replies to the tweet point out, the big problem with mandatory sentences for child porn is that it doesn't really account for the 18-year-old with a 17-year-old girlfriend and them trading pictures. I have been in that situation. My first girlfriend was younger than me by a few years. And so, like, thankfully we didn't have smartphones back then, but should I be jailed for a year minimum at 18 if my 17-year-old girlfriend sends me a picture?
Well,
that's the rationale for removing it. Now, I don't know how many cases they have like that. Obviously, I don't know that, but that is the rationale because by definition, that is CP. It's being traded. You have an adult and a minor. Like it meets the criteria for the minimum sentence. So what do you do with that? Do you?
I don't know. I think it's different. I think I don't want to justify this.
Yeah.
But if it's a one-way street, if there was no solicitation and it was sent over to the 18-year-old,
yeah,
maybe you might be okay. But if
what if you're trading? What if you're trading pictures? What if you're trading pictures?
It could be problematic, and you have to know the laws.
Not if you're. No, I don't mean you're trading it to a friend. I mean you and your girlfriend are trading.
You got to know the laws, man.
Like this is the thing, right? So do you deserve a 1-year sentence for that? You know, you're 18 in a day, and she's 17 in 364 days. Like, what do you do? I am. This is making me sound crazy. I realize that, but I have been in that situation. And I will tell you that I don't know what the law should be. Mandatory, I have no idea.
Make it mandatory and to hell with it. Some
and,
people
and you throw some out, I guess. Or you just change the, you can make a case for romantic interest. I have no idea. I really am not sure how the law works, but
just
there should be a like the thing is that if you get caught with like, I don't want to say real child porn, but child porn the way you and I understand it, a year is not long enough.
No, that's like a mandatory
minimum. But the mandatory minimum, a year is not long enough for that.
I agree.
If you're distributing child pornography, like you need to be.
We've
like
under
had
the
cases
jail. We've had cases we talked about in this show where people they had their sentence reduced because it would impact their immigration status.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So those type of cases, you throw out the immigration status because now you have a mandatory minimum to set that there's a floor here. And if it goes above that, all the more power, man.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yep.
So like we have to, I'm not sure if it's a deterrent because, let's be honest, there are states that have the death penalty and people still do crimes that result in them being executed.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly it's not totally a deterrent, but I guess those people, they might have mental issues. I have no fucking
clue. Of course.
But at the very least, you're taking them off the streets.
Yeah.
And you're not, if they're behind bars, they're not going to be doing this. You'd hope not. Maybe they do this. I have no idea what goes on in fucking jails. But in my mind, this shit doesn't happen in jails. Okay. And we feel better as fucking taxpayers, as Canadians. Like, and it wasn't like it was a slam dunk. It was a 5-4 decision.
Yeah. It was
right.
Close.
It was fucking very close.
And people are pointing to like the sort of Trudeau era judges being the ones who voted against the mandatory minimum. I'm giving you the case for not having a mandatory minimum. I am not a liberal, by any definition. And so I don't know. I think there's, unbelievably, I think there's something to this removing the mandatory minimum. I don't know the laws around this though, really. Like, there must be some exemption or loophole for people in a, relationship. You can look back at text messages or whatever and see like, yeah, these people are, they're in love, or what, I don't know what the term would be, but it's like, what do you do? Right. This is also like a sort of a digital era, behavior, right? The sort of swapping of, explicit photos, wasn't happening 15 years ago. Was it happening 15 years ago? It probably was, actually. But 20 years ago, it wasn't happening. I don't think. Unless it was on MSN Messenger. So, anyway.
Carney apologized about the Reagan ad, right?
I did see that. I don't care about this, really.
No, there's a lot to this. There's two pieces that are very interesting. But
a lot to it, you say. Okay, I'm all
well, he said he told Ford not to go ahead with the ad.
Yeah.
So he's saying this publicly. So now you have there's a rift between him and Doug Ford.
There's no rift. There's no rift.
Well,
these guys are smart. They know that no one's going to talk about this in a week. So they just say whatever they want, and that's it.
The beautiful thing about this, Carney, he came in with no cards. Now he has cards. We had not too long ago, who was it saying that Zelensky should be fucking apologizing? Was it Vance? Vance was saying.
Yeah.
Right now you have this guy apologizing.
Have you said sorry even once?
I see that, right? Yeah, this guy does apologize, right? So he's willing to play ball. He's got cards. He wants to play. So there you go. So good on Carney for doing this. And they had dinner afterwards.
Let's get out of here. Talk about some Hamilton Man versus Brampton Man. Brought to you by
256heat.com.
Got the shirt on today. Tuan told me he's selling and installing another unit Wednesday. If you haven't got one yet, I don't know what you're doing. Tuan was saying that he's having trouble shipping the S9s because they're a little finicky. So if you're local, he will make it happen for you, man. He'll come to your house to install it, I think, in some cases. So take advantage of that. Buy one. And even if you're not local, sort out the shipping. Pay for a crate or something. I don't know. Find a way to get it to you because you want one of these things. This thing's just running behind me at all times. Just a few thousand sats every day. Easy peasy. And you don't think about it. KYC free, baby. 256 heat.
All right. So Brampton versus Hamilton, man. You can play along at home. People like this particular segment. And we may expand it for the Christmas episode. We might do a nationwide one.
We're going around the world.
No, not world. Around the horn.
Me and Len are actually just streaming a game of Monopoly on Christmas Eve. We'll be playing for a few hours.
I love playing Monopoly when I was
So do I. Actually, I love Monopoly.
I played a fucking ton of it when I was my teens. Anyways, let's talk about this woman who is charged after throwing vomit at a cabbie. And this 24-year-old woman is facing charges after throwing her own vomit at the taxi driver following a night of drinking.
Taxi or Uber? Taxi?
Taxi.
Okay.
And just after 2 a.m. on a Saturday night, a drunk woman was riding in a taxi with a number of other people, and she got sick, started vomiting inside a cab. And she was told that she'd have to pay a cleaning fee for this. The woman became very upset, decided to hurl her vomit, and assaulted the driver, the police say.
Wow.
Yeah, she did it in a few ways. And the woman tried running away from the cab, but was located and arrested by police. She was charged with assault level 1 and mischief under $5,000.
Okay.
So there you go. That's the story number 1. And story number 2 is a shorty, but I found it to be fucking hilarious. This guy was charged with witchcraft. Police say that this guy was charged because there was fraud for pretending to practice witchcraft. And investigators alleged the suspect was taking money for witchcraft-related services at his home.
Easy. I got this nailed down. I got this nailed down.
Charges a fraud of under $5,000 in pretending to practice witchcraft, and he was due in court to he's offering those services for more than a year. So he had a number of different clients out there that were impacted by this, and the police are asking for alleged victims or anybody else with information to come forward so they could add this to the pile of charges against this man. So here we go. We have the tossing of the vomit, and we have the witchcraft dude. Who's the Hamilton? Who's the Brampton person?
When I was like 23, I was dating this girl. Not dating, but we were like fooling around or whatever. Lindsay, I won't say her last name. And I was at Hess Village pursuing another interest of mine. And as I was getting ready to leave with the other interests, Lindsay stumbled out of a bar called Diablo's and wrapped her arms around my neck and was like, I'm ready to go. Let's go home. And so I left with Lindsay, and Lindsay threw up in the cab on the way home. And we had to go to the manual car wash on Mohawk and Upper Wellington in Hamilton. And I had to wash the floor mats of the car because the cab driver wouldn't do it. And I had to, obviously I paid for the pleasure of doing so. Plus I gave the guy another $100 because the smell, this is not going to leave the cab anytime soon. When we got back to Lindsay's house, I had already been there a few times and kind of like knew her living situation. She's living with not her parents, but like her aunt and uncle were local. Her parents lived a little further away down in northern Ontario. And I was literally like fireman carrying her into her house through her garage. I knew the code for the garage. And I got inside. She was wasted, so wasted, like barely coherent. And her uncle was awake. What does this guy think I'm doing now? He thinks I'm taking advantage of this girl, dragging her in through the garage door. She can't even open her eyes. And he knows I've been there before. Brutal situation. Throwing up in the cab leads to terrible outcomes 100 times out of 100. No matter what the situation, throwing up in the cab is unforgivable. It's unforgivable. I never saw Lindsay again after that night, by the way.
You didn't throw the vomit
never,
at the
I never saw her again. We were supposed to go to Ottawa for a friend of mine's graduation. She was going to be my date. I ended up going to Ottawa by myself and picking up some girl off Tinder to bring to the banquet. That's a true story. Anyway, I will say that the cab is the Hamilton man and the witch doctor is the Brampton man.
Oh, you're 100% correct.
Knew it. Who's practicing witchcraft though? I have not talked about the witchcraft Brampton man before.
Yogendra Pathak. Anyways, that's the witchcraft dude. I would love to get involved in that. Maybe we could use him to help us figure out when to buy Bitcoin, when to sell Bitcoin.
He's an analyst. He's my quant.
Do you think he would have told us about that whole drainage from what was that thing that was just got nuked today?
What? Mark was talking about it. Balancer or something?
Balancer?
Yeah.
Because if he could give you some insight and think of all the people that got wrecked as a result of that.
Yeah.
You know, DeFi is a sketchy thing, but if you could time it right when you're getting all your gains and you just pull out before you get wrecked, this guy might be able to give you some tips. Right?
We need a witch doctor on staff.
And CBP. What you could do with those winnings, take a cab, fucking just get ripped at a bar and then fucking start throwing a vomit at you, unleashing the cab at the driver.
Dip and rip with what was the guy's name? Gerf something?
Pathik?
Gervnat Pathik coming on. Anyway, that's it. Len might be back Wednesday. He might not be. Good luck, everyone, tomorrow. Enjoy budget day for all those who celebrate, and congratulations.
Are you buying new shoes?
No. Congratulations to Mayor Mamdani too. On the
I should have worn my shitty shoes, but
I wore my blue shoes to the wedding on the weekend. Anyway, that's it. God bless. Take care of yourselves. Talk to you soon.
Take care.